that person would be absolutely right that, you know, paying off a house at, you know, a 3.25% interest rate is certainly, you're not going to amass as much wealth in the long term as if you were investing in the stock market. But, you know, I think the biggest thing that I always come back to is, what is your metric of success? You know, is it having a larger pile of money in the bank when you die? Or is it just having, you know, the flexibility and a rhythm of life that, you know, doesn't involve having debt and doesn't involve having a big mortgage?
How would you like to own your home outright? What would it feel like to never make a mortgage payment ever again? On our mortgage-free segment today, we're going to interview John Banker from Canyon City, Colorado. Recently, John and his wife, Amy, became mortgage-free in their 30s. Today, we're going to learn how they accomplished this family financial goal and what they're going to do with their money now. Welcome to the show, John.
Hey, Andy. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. I'm glad you're here, and thanks so much for sharing with us. I believe that transparency and openness really helps other people who are listening, so thank you for doing that for us today. I like to start with the mortgage-free 3. These are quick, short answers that help people understand the crazy thing that you did here. So let's start off with the first one. What was your starting mortgage principal balance?
Yeah, so we bought our home in 2009 for $155,000, and our starting principal balance was about $147,000.
$147,000 in 2009. Now, being in Colorado, I don't know. I feel like real estate's gone up a little bit. We'll talk about that in just a minute. How long did it take for you to pay off this mortgage?
It took us about 7.5 years, but we really didn't start accelerating our mortgage payment payoff until, you know, the last, essentially till our balance at $100,000. We really wanted to knock it out at that point. And that took us 22 months.
Wow. Okay, so when it got to 22 months, you guys just sort of raced to the finish line. Okay, cool. And then
exactly.
what is your home value today, knowing that you got it in 2009?
Sure. And actually, I misspoke there. That was 2013 was when we purchased the home.
Sorry.
December 2013.
Got it.
But yes, our home value today, you know, again, we haven't gotten an appraisal or anything like that, but I did check on Zillow, and it's about 316 on there, which doesn't account for some of the pretty significant remodels we did when we purchased the home. We kind of gutted it and redid some things. So it's probably, I would say it's close to maybe 340 or so, approximately.
That's incredible. That is an incredible growth and just proof that real estate is a good investment. I love it. Very cool. So this is fantastic. So 7.5 years, but within that last 20 months, you guys went crazy. Let's talk about the reason around this. Why did you decide that becoming mortgage-free was something that you were even interested in doing, John?
Sure. You know, when we first got our mortgage, you know, we were certainly just making our payments on that, focusing on our retirement, that kind of thing. But, you know, I think we just kind of realized that if we paid off our house, you know, those are some benefits you can realize now, you know, having that freed up cash flow, just to do the things you want to do, whether it's save for retirement or just, you know, whatever it is in your life that you're up to, you know, as compared to really going aggressive on retirement savings. You know, those are things you're not really going to realize for a lot of years, assuming again that you get to live to that age or whatever. I think sometimes we take that for granted. I think that was a big one for us, is just, you know, this is something that can really make a difference and an impact that we can realize now and for the rest of our lives.
I think that's great. And do you think being a father to some young kids makes you want to live more for today a little bit? Absolutely.
Yeah. Just having that security and flexibility is really key.
Yeah, I think that's beautiful. Well, let's talk about some of the nitty gritty. You got this home in 2013. What type of loan did you get when you started the process?
Yeah, so we got a 15-year conventional fixed rate, you know, pretty basic loan.
Okay, and then what kind of rate did you get in 2013 for that?
We were at 3.25.
Awesome. This sounds exactly like my situation. We got this in 2013, 15-year. We had about a 3% fixed rate. So yeah, very, very similar. And then you said originally the home was around 160. Did I hear you say that right? How much did you put down, I guess?
Yeah, we put 5% down.
5% down. Okay,
yeah.
Cool. Awesome.
Yeah, the purchase price was $155,000.
Got it. Excellent. Well, it seems like it's been a great investment for you as you guys have made that down the road.
Definitely, we got lucky on that.
How about
Definitely got in at the right time.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, real estate's been fantastic over the past 10 years. Let's talk about some steps that you took to pay this off. Some people are listening saying, wow, how do you pay a mortgage off with all the things you've got going on in life? What did you do? Did you increase your income? Did you decrease your expenses? What did you do to make this possible?
I think first and foremost, just acknowledging the position of privilege to even be in a spot to be able to think about paying off your home early was key. Being debt free was huge for us. Very blessed in the sense that my parents and my grandparents both, covered the cost of education for both my undergraduate and graduate degrees. So that was huge, a real big head start for us. Same with my wife, Amy, her dad covered the majority of the cost for her undergrad degree. So that really just gave us a big head start where we could start thinking about, some of these bigger goals.
I agree. I love that you pointed that out. Not everybody has some of the blessings that other folks have, so I appreciate you acknowledging that. Outside of those privileges that you had, did you guys do some things to, make the budget work in your favor to be able to pay off this mortgage?
Absolutely. And yeah, we did, trying to, maximize our income. I had a PRN position. I'm a physical therapist working in a hospital, and I also worked extra as a PRN at another facility. Did that for quite a few years, just to try to maximize that. And then, always on the flip side of the coin as well, just minimizing our expenses. We've always been kind of naturally frugal. My wife and I got married in 2009, and we bought a 3-year-old Honda Civic, a 2006, and we're actually still driving that car as a family of 4. So that was another big one, is just avoiding that lifestyle creep. I don't think that can be overstated enough. So often our incomes increase, and you get other toys, or raise your standard of living a little bit. I think we've just really been cognizant of that and trying to avoid it, deciding what's important to us and really focusing on those things. We just have the one vehicle for a family of 4. And, I'm an avid cyclist. I ride my bike to work, just those kinds of things. That's just kind of where we're at with things, and we enjoy it.
I love that. Well, you live in an area, and I don't know Canyon City specifically, but Colorado in general, I know is many, many days of sunshine. So it's probably great to get out there on your bike and realize, I guess, the beauty of the nature that you have there. You mentioned the Honda Civic. How do you fit kids in a Honda Civic? I thought you needed an SUV. What's that all about?
No,
man?
absolutely
I don't get it.
not. Absolutely not. It's a myth.
They fit in the car? How does that work?
They actually fit in the car.
Fit.
There's actually 5 seats, and we only have to fill 4 of them.
What?
So.
Okay. All right. Well, this is news to me. No, I'm being facetious.
Yeah. I know we kind of get that a lot. It's not typical, but we enjoy it, and we just do what's important to us. As the kids grow, we'll certainly be getting a larger vehicle, but they fit just fine in the back seat, and we've never had a hard time with that.
Yeah, I think that it is an interesting point when you get to that point where you're like, okay, we are definitely standing out in the car pickup line or whatever compared to a lot of folks. But you know what? I think standing out sometimes can help when you're doing crazy things like paying off your mortgage early, right?
Absolutely, yeah. And another thing that really helped us as well was just kind of the nuts and bolts of how we actually paid off the mortgage was we use a pretty simple Google spreadsheet every month. We kind of have a budget there. We're not real strict on budget categories. Our big thing is income minus expenses, is going to be positive every month. But yeah, so we basically track that pretty closely. I'm kind of the money nerd for sure. My wife, not as much. But yeah, so I'll basically plug all those numbers in, and at the end of the month, after we've paid all of our expenses, whatever's left, pretty much down to the penny, we were rolling to our mortgage principal, and we just kind of consistently did that for 22 months for that last $100,000 on our balance.
Yeah, that's incredible. What happened 22 months ago where you said, "Hey, let's race to the finish line. Let's get this thing done"? Did the pandemic help that because you guys were at home more, spending less? What do you think?
I don't know. I think it was just kind of always a goal of ours to pay off our house. And I think when it got to that 100,000 mark, it was just kind of a nice, like, hey, let's get crazy on the mortgage and knock this thing out.
That's great. I love that. I love the I guess the numeric goal where you're like, whoa, this thing has never been below 100. And to see just 5 numbers is insane. So let's keep going. I love that. That's very cool.
Yeah, during that time with our payoff, we did drop our retirement savings in our 401k down to essentially our 6%, which was the match that I could get 100% on at work. And that was definitely a little bit of a sacrifice, but I think it kind of kept us motivated just to get that goal faster and then being able to come back and get back on the retirement bandwagon a little more aggressively.
Got it. Well, let's talk to the person who listened to that statement right there and says, wow, man, you totally missed out on some big gains and you missed out on some growth. Why would you do that? Talk to that person. Explain your rationale.
Yeah, I mean, that person would be absolutely right that, paying off a house at, a 3.25% interest rate is certainly, you're not going to amass as much wealth in the long term as if you were investing in the stock market. But, I think the biggest thing that I always come back to is, what is your metric of success? Is it having a larger pile of money in the bank when you die? Or is it just having, the flexibility and a rhythm of life that, doesn't involve having debt and doesn't involve having a big mortgage? So, we were fully aware of missing out on some gains, but it was well worth it to us. And, I think for us too, it's just contentment. What do you need to be happy and fulfilled? And to us, it's not necessarily having more money in the bank. Although, that's still our goal and we're still working towards those things for sure. But just knowing how much is enough, I think is huge.
John, I love that sentiment. It is, for me too, I feel like it's not about maximizing my wealth so I can have a big pile when I die. It's about maximizing our happiness, maximizing
Absolutely.
the life experiences that we can have today. What's going to calm my brain? What's going to make me feel good? What's going to make my family feel comfortable? I love that sentiment. Can you talk just generally, people here, paying off your mortgage in a quick time frame. Can you talk about a general income range so people understand what you guys are coming with?
Sure. Yeah. When we purchased our home in 2013, I was in my first year in my career as a physical therapist. I was earning about approximately $60,000 a year. My wife, Amy, she's a kindergarten teacher. She was at that time. And that was right around when we had our son, Levi, when he was born, and my wife was basically staying home with him at that time. So that's where we were at as a starting point.
Got it. Absolutely. Well, yeah, I mean, you guys have done some incredible work over the years and making this a goal. So how are things different for you now? Are you guys celebrating? What are you doing with the extra money? Talk to us about that.
Yeah, I mean, like I mentioned, we've certainly turned the dial back up on the 401k. So we're maxing that out now, and just right now we're setting a little extra cash aside. We've got some bigger trips coming up over the holidays, that kind of thing. So yeah, nothing too crazy. It just kind of feels like things are a little more on autopilot now, where goals are going to be accomplished, setting some things up automatically, which just makes it easy to not really have to stress too much about it. I
love that. And I understood you said Amy is less of the money nerd than you are. How did some of those conversations go early on where you're saying, hey, let's pay off this mortgage? Was that always a conversation Amy was interested in?
Yeah, so I kind of initiated it, but she was certainly on board. I think we've always just we talk about things and, think about what the future wants to look like for us. And she's always been extremely supportive and on board. She lets me, really get the nuts and bolts figured out, but she's always supportive. And yeah, we definitely work together well in that area.
I love it. Well, you're going to do something big like this, you need some teamwork. So that's fantastic, John. Thank you so much for your time today. I really appreciate it. If people want to get in touch with you, are you on Instagram or Twitter or something like that where somebody can shoot you a note?
No, I'd be happy to share any information. I'm at jbanker86@gmail.com.
Excellent. Well, John, thank you so much for your time today. If people have some questions, it sounds like you're open to them reaching out and sharing this transparency and help for a lot of people who are looking to hit this goal as well. John, thank you so much today. Appreciate it.
Absolutely, Andy. Really appreciate it coming on.